Am I the jerk for allowing my ex-wife into my home? Early yesterday evening, my ex-wife came to pick up our son from my home. At the time, my wife and I had a few visitors over for dinner. The visitors included her sister and husband, but was mostly friends. Usually my ex phones our son when she's downstairs. We live in an apartment building, and he goes down to meet her. Yesterday she called our son as usual, but asked him to ask me if she could come up because one of her younger kids needed to use the bathroom. I obviously said yes. She came up with her 3 younger kids. She didn't know we had company, so apologized for interrupting, before taking the kids to the bathroom. On her way out, a couple of the guests stopped her for a quick chat, friends I've had since she and I were married, but it was only a few minutes. My son gave his little siblings some of the snacks that were out for guests. After they left, my wife's sister was quick to call my ex rude for barging in. One of my friends replied to her saying something about small kids' bladders, and nothing more was said about it. However, after everyone but my wife's sister had left, my wife and her sister started talking about it and both agreed that it was rude and tacky. They couldn't believe she started talking to some of our friends. When I objected, they said it was wrong of me to have let her in without asking my wife first. I said that's ridiculous. Later, my wife and I discussed it again, and she said she found it embarrassing for me to just let her in like that. I asked why, but she said I wouldn't understand. Am I really the jerk here? I was trying to do a normal nice thing, but now I feel bad about upsetting my wife. Am I the jerk for refusing to help my sister after she kicked me out? So, I, 21F, have a sister, 27F, who has always had a bit of a rocky relationship with me. About 6 months ago, I was going through a tough time financially and emotionally after losing my job and breaking up with my boyfriend. My sister offered to let me stay with her until I got back on my feet. I was incredibly grateful and moved in with her. Things were fine at first, but then she started setting really strict rules that made me feel like a prisoner in her home. No guests, no music, curfew by 8 p.m., etc. I did my best to follow her rules, but she would still find reasons to complain and criticize me. One night, I came home an hour late because my bus got delayed, and she completely lost it. She accused me of being irresponsible and disrespectful, and in the heat of the argument, she told me to pack my things and leave. I had no choice but to move out that night and crash on a friend's couch. Fast forward to now, I've managed to get a new job and a small apartment. Meanwhile, my sister has lost her job and is struggling to pay her rent. She called me a few days ago, asking if she could stay with me for a while. I told her no, explaining that I couldn't forget how she treated me when I needed help. She got really upset and said I was being petty and holding a grudge. Our parents are divided on the issue. My mom thinks I should help her because family is family, but my dad says it's my choice and understands why I don't want to. Some of my friends also think I'm being too harsh, while others agree with me. So, am I the jerk for refusing to help my sister after she kicked me out? Am I the jerk for not giving my brother my lottery winnings despite his financial struggles? I, 28F, recently won a significant amount of money in the lottery. It wasn't a jackpot, but it was enough to make a big difference in my life, around $500,000, pre-tax. I've always been pretty careful with money, and I plan to use it to pay off my student loans, put a down payment on a house, and maybe start a small business I've always dreamed of. My brother, 32M, found out about my winnings through our parents. He's been struggling financially for years due to poor money management and some bad luck, and he has a lot of debt. He called me and congratulated me, then immediately asked if I could help him out by giving him $30,000 to pay off his debts and get back on his feet. I sympathize with his situation, but I feel like giving him such a large amount of money won't really solve his problems in the long term. I've seen him blow through money before, and I worry that this would just be another cycle. I told him that I'm willing to help him create a budget plan and even give him a smaller amount, like $5,000, to help with immediate needs, but he got really upset. He accused me of being selfish and not caring about family. Our parents are split on the issue. My mom thinks I should help him out because family helps family, but my dad agrees that my brother needs to learn to manage his own finances. I feel conflicted because I do care about my brother, but I also believe in being responsible with my money and making sure it lasts. Am I the jerk for not giving my brother a larger portion of my lottery winnings despite his financial struggles? Am I the jerk for leaving with my best friend after my girlfriend insulted her? I, 29M, have a girlfriend Kathy, 26F, and a best friend Ava, 28F. To clarify, my girlfriend is really good friends with my best friend and she's more than fine with our friendship. Ava and I have been best friends since we were kids. I grew up poor and she was rich, so she always made sure I ate and had a place to sleep. This girl is pretty much the reason I'm where I am currently. Even though I've got a job now, and try to offer to treat her, she insists on paying and won't let me pay her back. It's her thing. I gave up trying and I've seen her do with our entire friend group, so we just take it as a fun quirk of hers. Kathy is pretty much the love of my life. I want to spend the rest of my life with her, so what I did was incredibly tough. The three of us and Ava's boyfriend had gone out to eat. He had to leave early so didn't pay. Ava said she was going to pay. Then, in true Ava fashion, she went to the front desk under the pretext of going to washroom and paid the bill. Obviously I tried my "let me pay you back, why'd you pay" things, but she wouldn't hear it. Then, out of nowhere, my girlfriend accuses her of implying that she's poor. Kathy said, "Listen, I know you like to pay, but I'm an adult and I don't need you to pay for my meals like I'm a child." Ava seemed shocked and apologized. I was shocked too because Kathy doesn't ever act like this and has always been fine with Ava paying. I took her to the side and Kathy said, "I don't care if she's your best friend, she's making me look pathetic." She proceeded to insult her looks and her religion. I got angry, because Ava was genuinely just a sweet person. I told her maybe she needed time to cool off, and walked out with Ava. I called her an Uber and then drove back home myself. Kathy has her own car so could take herself. She had not been drinking either. When Kathy came home we fought because I left with her. Honestly, I don't know what's going on. Am I the jerk? And please help me on how to avoid such situations in the future. Am I the jerk for refusing to pay my ex $180 for a tattoo she got me? Now ex-girlfriend and I went to Chicago in May, and both decided that we wanted to get tattoos while we were there. I was paying for all the dinners on the vacation, so I asked her if she'd be okay with paying for the tattoos since she had always been pretty fair with splitting expenses, and she said yeah. They wound up being $160 for hers and $180 for mine after tips. I asked her if that was still okay despite it being a little more than we expected and told her that I'd give her some money towards them if she'd like, but she said that it was fine. Fast forward a month, and we broke up. We're in the middle of no contact, and I saw her out on a social event one night with her friends while I was standing in line for an attraction. Once she'd noticed I was there, she came over with her friend's position right next to me in what seemed to a move to make their presence known. I walked away and continued my night. Same evening, she sends me a random Cash App at 3:30 in the morning captioned for the tattoo I paid for. I assumed she was probably drunk and having drunk person logic on the ex contacting thing and was not really in the mood, so I wrote out a quick cordial message for my friend to send her asking to refrain from doing those things. She reads it, bing bang boom, back to no contact, we chillin'. One day goes by fine, but the day after I was sitting at the library reading when I got a random text from her mom asking me to kindly accept the Cash App for the tattoo she'd sent the night prior. Like I said, I didn't even think it was a real request and that she'd actually think I'd accept it, but apparently she did. I explained to her mom that I viewed the tattoo as a gift, and if that every gift we exchanged was expected to reimburse, then that was just silly. She disagreed and said I should have brought more money and paid for the tattoo myself knowing how expensive they are, and that it was immature that I was refusing to pay the money to her daughter for it. I explained to her again that I would have paid or contributed to it in the moment if I was asked, but I didn't see the need to be paying for something that was offered, was bought a month ago, and wouldn't have had to be paid back if we stayed together. She again said it was immature, but I just said whatever and backed off the conversation. So what y'all think? Am I the jerk? Am I the jerk for moving out when my parents need my income to afford the home? I, 23F, currently live with my parents, 52 and 53, because I was in a tough place and needed a place to stay to save money. I was unemployed at a point in time and they helped me pay for my personal finances and I am forever grateful for it. I moved back in and have been here for over a year and my parents tell me I'm ungrateful and that I don't help with anything, when I primarily take care of cleaning, cooking, budgeting etc. I had mentioned months back that I wanted to move out around the fall and was told that they can't afford anything by themselves and that they need me to take care of them and their home. I agreed to stay for when they wanted me to go. However, I saw the place mentioned above and I told them that I'm planning on going sooner than expected and was met with questions about how I gave them such a short notice and that they need me. I feel guilty and don't know if am I the jerk for planning on moving out? It's important to note that I have been paying them 1/4 of the rent and have been helping with household needs as well.